During World War II, my unit was assigned to guard a weapon that was never used. In February 1945, as the war in Europe was clearly reaching its final phase, my unit received orders that made no sense even by wartime standards. We were pulled off the front line without explanation and reassigned to guard duty in a forested area several kilometers behind Allied lines. There was no village, no supply depot, no artillery position, nothing of strategic value on any of our maps. The coordinates pointed to a stretch of forest intersected by a narrow dirt road and an abandoned rail spur. The orders were simple and disturbing. Establish a perimeter, deny access to everyone including Allied units unless they had a specific clearance phrase, and under no circumstances allow the object to be activated. No one told us what the object was. Our unit consisted of infantry reinforced with engineers and a small armored element. We had M1 Garands, M1 carbines, 2 bars, several M1919 machine guns, and one M36 Jackson tank destroyer positioned hull down overlooking the road. Engineers arrived an hour after us with crates of equipment we were ordered not to inspect. Everything was unloaded under armed supervision, and even the officers were kept away from certain containers. By nightfall, the engineers finished assembling something in the clearing. It was not a weapon in the traditional sense. There was no barrel, no obvious firing mechanism, no turret. Instead, there was a steel structure mounted on a reinforced concrete base, roughly the size of a small house. Thick armored plates formed a ring around a central chamber, and heavy cables ran from the structure into generators hidden deeper in the forest. Warning placards were welded directly onto the metal, not painted, in both English and German. That alone raised questions no one dared ask. The engineers called it a control assembly, and nothing more. The first strange thing happened the second night. Our perimeter sensors, simple trip flares and pressure alarms, went off repeatedly, but patrols found nothing. No footprints. No broken branches. Just silence. The M36 crew reported that their radio was picking up brief bursts of static that aligned perfectly with the alarm triggers, as if something was interfering with both systems simultaneously. On the third night, German artillery found us. Not a barrage. Not an attack. Just a single ranging shot that landed precisely at the edge of the clearing. Then another, closer. Then a third that struck one of the generators, destroying it instantly. The engineers panicked and attempted to reroute power, shouting orders we were told not to repeat. Before they could finish, the firing stopped. Recon patrols later reported no German guns within range. That was when command finally spoke openly, but only partially. We were told the structure was part of a countermeasure program. Not an offensive weapon, but a deterrent. It had been tested once and only once. The results were described as successful but unacceptable. Our job was to ensure it never operated again. 2 days later, German armor appeared. A mixed group, Panzer IVs, a Jagdpanther, and infantry supported by half-tracks. They advanced cautiously, clearly aware of something in the area, but unsure what. Our orders were to engage normally and delay them. The M36 opened fire first, its 90mm gun disabling the Jagdpanther with a clean frontal penetration. Infantry combat followed, intense but controlled. The Germans pushed closer to the clearing than command had expected. Then one of the engineers was hit. In the confusion, someone activated the device. There was no explosion, no flash, no sound. The air inside the clearing simply shifted. It felt heavier, like pressure before a storm. Radios died instantly. Engine stalled. The M36's crew reported total power loss. German vehicles stopped moving, not destroyed, just frozen in place. Infantry on both sides dropped to the ground, unable to move, unable to speak. It was as if time itself had slowed unevenly. I could still think, still see, but moving felt impossible. At the center of the structure, the chamber opened. Inside, there was nothing but darkness, deeper than shadow. One by one, German vehicles closest to the clearing began to deform. Not explode. Bend. Armor plates folded inward, tracks lifted off the ground, turrets rotated without force. The process was silent and methodical, like machinery operating on a scale we couldn't understand. Then it stopped. The chamber closed. Power died completely. The forest returned to normal sounds. Everyone could move again. The German force was gone. Not destroyed. Gone. No wrecks. No bodies. Just empty ground where dozens of vehicles and soldiers had been seconds earlier. Command arrived within hours. High-ranking officers we had never seen before secured the area, dismantled the structure piece by piece, and loaded it onto flatbed trucks under heavy guard. We were ordered never to discuss the incident. Every man in the unit signed documents we weren't allowed to read. After the war, I tried to find any reference to that operation. There was none. No official report. No experimental weapons program matching the description. Nothing. Years later, German archives revealed fragmented reports from late 1945 describing entire units that vanished without engagement, last seen advancing into areas of mechanical silence. Those reports were dismissed as battlefield stress or communication failures. But I was there. Whatever that device was, it worked exactly once. And everyone who saw it understood why it was never allowed to operate again.